Throughout the play, The Importance of Being Earnest, by author Oscar Wilde, there are a myriad of literary devices used in order to satirize the Victorian era higher classes with the use of characterization, verbal irony, and symbolism, which connect to the global issue of hierarchy and marriage in order to demonstrate to the audience the values and hypocrisy from that time period, in which is evident in Act 3. Despite the age of the play, the concepts are also evident in modern times in arranged marriages for the purpose of status and wealth. Oscar Wilde uses the characterization of Lady Bracknell to demonstrate power and authority, which relates to the global issue of hierarchy, marriage, and class. Lady Bracknell sees marriage as an alliance for property and social security. Her characterization demonstrates the majority of people from the Victorian era. Oscar Wilde satirizes these values in which love or passion is not the main goal of marriage, which is represented through this literary device. In addition, she is seen to be hypocritical and shallow, which are used to describe the higher classes in Victorian society. In the quote, "Three addresses always inspire confidence." When Lady Bracknell is questioning Cecily, the importance of an address demonstrates how hierarchy is important for marriage, as the location of one's house can represent their status. This emphasizes the meaning of materialistic value and how it connects to an individual. Similarly, in Act 1, Lady Bracknell is questioning Jack about his money when he proposes to Gwendolen to prove him a suitable candidate. She questions, "What is your income?" Considering Lady Bracknell does not ask any questions about Jack's character and feelings for Gwendolen, it demonstrates how higher classes in the Victorian society only look at what one possesses, such as land and money, as opposed to one's character. Wilde hopes to demonstrate to the audience the hypocrisy and ridiculousness of marriage based on wealth and status, as seen through the satirical writing style of the indirect characterization of Lady Bracknell. Oscar Wilde uses verbal irony throughout the play to satirize the values of marriage and hierarchy in the Victorian era. This is evident when Lady Bracknell learns about Cecily's wealth and immediately changes her mind on giving permission for Cecily to marry Algernon, seen in Act 3. The quote states, "A moment, Mr. Worthing, £130,000, and in the funds, Miss Cardew seems to be the most attractive young lady now that I look at her." The quote shows a sudden change of mind, depicting irony and hypocrisy, as she was previously indifferent to Cecily and Algernon's engagement prior to knowing about Cecily's wealth. This connects to the global issue as it depicts the values that are most important to the higher class in marriage, and in addition can be seen in modern society, as many people marry for money and status. Another example of verbal irony and hypocrisy is evident in Act 1. In a discussion between Algernon and Jack, Algernon states, "You have invented a very useful younger brother called Ernest, in order that you may be able to come up to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury." Both protagonists use these alternative characters to deceive others and make themselves seem moral through these lies, making them into hypocrites. In addition to the aforementioned characterization and verbal irony, Oscar Wilde uses the symbolism of identity to emphasize the materialistic values in the society. The theme of identity throughout the play is seen through the use of Ernest and Bunbury as an alternative identity for Jack and Algernon. When Lady Bracknell finds out about the supposed sudden death of Bunbury, she shows little to no emotion and compassion for this sudden death, emphasizing a robotic-like lifestyle of the higher classes, which is only interested in status and wealth. Quickly after receiving the news, Lady Bracknell states, "And now that we have finally got rid of this Mr. Bunbury," and then proceeds to change the subject. Furthermore, when the characters discover about Jack and Algernon's true identity in Act 2, the protagonists are faced with no consequences, despite the numerous lies, specifically towards Cecily and Gwendolen. This shows how the values in a Victorian society care more about ludicrous values of money and hierarchy than honesty and responsibility. It connects to the global issue as identity relates to one's place in hierarchy and marriage, which is an important lesson that Oscar Wilde represents to the audience. In addition, the author demonstrates how moral values are as not as important as individuals' appearance in regards to their identity. Wilde puts emphasis on the satirization of one's name, status, and appearances in contrast to personality and character, to show the surface level mindset of the